Good evening, I'm WSA 9, WSA 9 Weather Watch Alert Meteorologist Topper Shutt. Now, I'll show you radar, and we're going to widen this way out because we're still hours away from any precip rolling in. Now, a couple of things to notice here. Big time snows in, yes, Arkansas and Missouri, and then south of that, we have severe weather. And this is sort of a pattern and a storm track you'd expect more in March or April than January. But we've been in this for about the past 8 weeks with these low pressure systems going well to the west of us. In some cases, going west of Detroit, in some cases, going west of Chicago. Now, this is not a bad start for a storm to bring us snow, but it would have to move east and south of us, and that is not going to happen. So let's talk about this, because this is kind of crazy. Let's first talk about, we'll show you some snow in Arkansas, and we're talking about, like, you know, legitimate snow, probably in order of 3 to 6 inches for some of these places, and it's snowing there right now. So this is actually some sleet and a little bit of snow in northwestern Arkansas. So right around Fort Smith 40, which cuts right through Tennessee and goes all the way into Arkansas. This is a heavy little band of snow right now around Fort Smith. It's not all snow. You jump the line over to Tulsa, and you do have some rain, but still, you know, there's enough cold air down here to produce mostly snow overnight, especially in the northwest corner of Arkansas. Now, let's also talk about, let's go down to the south, because again, this storm has what you think of a spring storm. Spring storms have snow and heavy rain and also severe weather. So we're going to down through Texarkana, and we're going to kind of go over here just a little bit. Look at this line of showers and storms. That's on I-20. So you head east from Shreveport over toward Jackson. This is quite a line of showers and storms. I mean, in fact, it's even bowed a little bit, like it might even have some straight line winds. That's kind of crazy for January. And it's possible, but just still kind of crazy. Now we go farther south, okay, down toward the Gulf. Okay, this is almost look at that. It's almost a solid line of storms all the way down from 20 down to essentially I-10. I mean, that's a lot. So it's now east of Alexandria, but it's pushing over toward Hattiesburg and Jackson, Mississippi. If we go a little further south now, there we go. Okay, so now we've got this line extending all the way through Louisiana into the Gulf of Mexico. And these are tornado warnings, these are flood warnings, and these in yellow boxes are severe thunderstorm warnings. So again, it's sort of like a spring storm because it has all elements. It has winter, yes, on the north side, has heavy rain on the east side, and has severe weather on the southeast side. That's, you know, not unprecedented, but you'd expect this more in February or March for a storm than January. But, you know, there it is. And because the storm is essentially moving kind of along the Ohio River, it's going to erode our cold air. We barely have enough cold air, quite frankly, to even have a little bit of, only reason we're talking about a beginning of snow is because the cold air is in place and cold air is denser. And so we, you know, have a little cold air as this moves in. Now, you see this area right here? It's very light activity, Kentucky, Tennessee. So as this storm system essentially moves from around Memphis up toward Cincinnati, we're going to see a warm front try to lift northward. Now, the warm front's going to bow as it comes in contact with this colder air. It always does that. So it'll look like that by tomorrow morning. But you see this is ahead of the storm, and this is warm air riding up over cold air and condensing. So this is why we think we'll have a little bit of light precipitation in the metro, even inside the Beltway, by maybe 6 a.m. It's going to be light. It's not going to be the heavier core of rain from the storm itself. That won't occur until late morning and afternoon. But this is kind of giving me a little more confidence with that one model that says, hey, you know what? It's called overrunning. We'll get a little bit of overrunning before the storm gets in here. And so we could see snowflakes maybe as far south as Gaithersburg, Fairfax. But the real problems with this storm are going to be I-81 and west, no doubt about that. So, all right, so let's talk about a couple other things here. Now, the storm itself is, again, going to move essentially along the Ohio River and well to our north and west, and that means, well, that means we don't have any fun with the storm, at least in the metro. So we have a weather watch alert for tomorrow. We have it also for heavy rain. We're going to see heavy downpours for this storm. And yes, a morning mix north and west. But even you folks that see a pretty good thumping of snow. And there will be some areas that see 1, 2, 3, 4 inches of snow between Hagerstown and Cumberland down toward Romney. Everybody is going to end up with rain. So in the morning, yes, I recommend, if you can, stay off of I-81 and the side roads. But after, 12, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, everybody goes to rain. Now, behind the storm, blustery again on Thursday. Wind chills will be in the 30s. And then cold but dry on Friday with temperatures in the 40s. So we always get a little cold air behind these storms that pass to our west. And I guess some good news for the ski resorts. A little bit of snow in the morning, and then it does kick to rain, but then they get more snow on the backside on Thursday as we see northwest winds and upslope snow. All right, what are the threats for Wednesday? Okay, well, here are the threats. Rain, high. I mean, no doubt about that. Wintry mix is low, and primarily it's confined, again, I-81 and west. And then snow, again, low, but I-81 and west. Don't see any damaging winds with this right now. So check this out, okay? Look at the area covered by this one storm. So the white, winter storm warnings, and then the purplish color would be winter weather advisories. I mean, that is a lot of real estate. That goes from the Texas Panhandle, just north of Dallas, too, in North Texas, all the way through the Ohio Valley and the Midwest, almost all of the Northeast, and a little bit of the Mid-Atlantic. Again, our advisories were expanded a couple hours ago to include Frederick County. I'll give you a close-in view of this. These go until 4 p.m. So it does include Frederick County, Washington County, points west. Does not include western Loudoun County. We'll keep an eye on that for tonight at 11 o'clock, especially west of Route 15. Front Royal, Luray, again, along I-81 corridor, all the way down to Stanton, you're under a winter weather advisory for snow and ice. But again, all of this area is going to transition to rain. Don't think we can avoid that with how far west the storm track is. So, impacts. Flooding, I don't think we'll see any flooding, but that said, there will be some heavy downpours in the afternoon between about noon and 4 o'clock. Wet commute, oh yeah, going home, no doubt. Going to work, you might have a wet commute, and if you're along I-81, you might have a wet and slick commute. Power outages, don't see that. Slick roads, yeah, low. But again, I-81 and west. So if you have to travel I-81, if you can wait till afternoon, I'd do it. If you can skip the whole day, even better. So, low temps tonight. Problem is there's going to be a lot of areas below freezing. And we start off clear and clouds come in and it traps this cold air, and colder air is denser than warmer air. So not below freezing downtown, but even Manassas and Culpeper, Front Royal, everybody's going to be in the upper 20s. Gaithersburg, Frederick, Bowie, everybody's in the upper 20s, even down to Tappahannock. Okay, so that's part of our problem. But as we go through the morning, the warm air will scour this out. It's just it's not strong enough cold air for a real cold air damming situation. High temperatures. This is a little deceiving, okay? Dress for the upper 30s and low 40s tomorrow, because these temperatures, 45 Gaithersburg, 45 downtown, probably won't occur until 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock tomorrow night, like right around now. During the day, I think it's going to remain rather cold, upper 30s, low 40s. End up for the record book, it's a 24-hour high-low, probably will be 45, maybe even 46. But the kids at the bus stop need to be advised, layers, and then protect yourself from getting wet. So here is our future cast. We'll graph it out for you. Notice nothing at 8 o'clock downtown. I think there could be a couple stray flakes or sprinkles even at 8 o'clock downtown. But then the main event certainly is going to be late morning and afternoon, tapering off a little bit by 6 p.m. This just updated. Now it's going up to 48. Notice how the temps keep rising as we go through the evening hours. It's not usually what happens. Okay, couple of models. I'm going to show you 3 models. All right. So this is our model. And notice at 6 o'clock in the morning, I'll get my head out of the way, it's dry. Temperatures I think these numbers are a little too warm. I don't like these numbers at all, but just let's talk about precip. It's dry. By the time we get to 9 a.m., now we have rain all the way to Gaithersburg and I-95 with a pretty good thumping of snow out toward I-81 and westward, out toward Cumberland and Petersburg. So this area, you triangle, from Cumberland to Petersburg, kind of over to Hagerstown, that's the area that's going to have the best chance for accumulating snow. And I think you're going to see 2, 3, 4 inches before the changeover. So that's 9 a.m. So many of us are going to have a wet commute unless you're already at work at 9 o'clock. If you're coming in from the west, you'll be kind of racing to beat it. By noon, look at this. Look at all the yellow. That's, moderate to heavy rainfall. Temperatures low 40s. And notice by noon, there's very little mixed precipitation left in the metro. It's all but gone. I mean, the warm air will win this over. By 2:30, 3 o'clock, this model begins to exit the system very quickly. Temperatures low 40s. Again, it's not going to go up for a while. By the time we get to 6 p.m., now the temps are popping 46, 47, and we have light showers in southern Maryland, but the heavy rain is now across the bay and, in fact, offshore. So that model brings it in a little later, but brings it out quicker compared to the other 2 models I'm going to show you. This is 10 o'clock tomorrow night, beginning to clear out toward Leesburg and Manassas. Don't worry about refreezing tomorrow, not going to be a problem. Look at these temperatures. It could be our high could be just before midnight, 49 at 10 o'clock. Okay, now let's talk about the European model. This is a 9 o'clock, and it already has a little bit of rain out toward Leesburg and a good mix along I-81. Again, the pink color is the mix and the blue is the snow. Green is the rain. So that's 9 o'clock. By 10 o'clock, it has a little bit of a mix, Hagerstown down toward I-81 and west, and rain just in the metro area, which I agree with. By 3 o'clock, I mean, it's hanging on to a little pocket of cold air out toward Cumberland across the divide, but essentially it's going to be rain, okay, and heavy rain at that. Even by, say, 6 o'clock, it's going to be raining in the metro. Now, this model takes it out slower, okay? This has a wet commute for everybody on Wednesday night, and even by 9:30, it even has some showers and rain as you're trying to take that walk after dinner. So, European model, similar, maybe a little quicker on the beginning of the precipitation, and certainly slower on getting rid of the precipitation. No doubt about that. Okay, here's our third model, and this updates every hour. Now, notice this is actually at 6 o'clock in the morning, and it does have some snow already in parts of the metro and some sprinkles. That's that overrunning, okay? That's the warm air over the cold air. By 9 o'clock, now it's got rain across the board, a mix along I-81, and then boom, pretty good snows to the west. If you notice, I mean, this has been pretty consistent on all models. So that's why we're pretty confident that A, you need to stay off the roads on I-81 until lunchtime, and B, places like Cumberland and Romney could get 2, 3, 4 inches of snow. By the time we get to noon, now we've got rain everywhere, pretty much. Still a mix. I think it's hanging onto that mix a little too long, but temperatures are above freezing, even up in Hagerstown. And then this is by evening. So rain across the board, heavier rain now, getting across 95 into the Delmarva and across the bay. Temperatures keep going up, 44. By evening, 10 o'clock, this does have some showers, temperatures in the mid to upper 40s. And look at this, hits 50 before midnight tomorrow. All right, now let's talk snowfall maps. This is the European model, and that is the GFS model. That's European, American. I'll step out here. They look pretty similar. They're not too far off, okay? The European is kind of trimmed back the snow, which I like. So this is pretty close, okay? This is relatively close, especially along I-81. Earlier today, the European model had a lot of snow on the east side of I-81. I think that was a mistake. I just don't think it's going to be cold enough. So we'll put numbers onto these maps. So this is the European model. 0.3 in Frederick, I think, is still high. It's got 2.7 in Cumberland, 1.5 in Romney, and 1.3 in Petersburg. So again, there is your problem in the morning, I-81 and west. So let's remember a couple of numbers. Let's remember 2.7 for Cumberland and 0.3 for Frederick. Now, the American model, 0.7 for Frederick, 3.3 for Cumberland. I don't like that number either, but I like these numbers. This 2, 3, 4 inches up here is fine. And 4 inches in Oakland, certainly reasonable. I think this is bringing the the winter precip too far south and east. Now, that said, this snow map technically covers sleet. So this could be measuring a little bit of sleet, but I think it's too far south and too far east. I think the closest it could get to anything in terms of measurable winter precip would be western Loudon west of 15, and I think it would be Frederick and north, but I think 0.7 is too high. Okay, so those are the two maps. Rainfall. Let's talk rainfall because that's mainly what this is all about. Okay, so we've got, the NAM says about an inch, everybody else a half an inch to 3/4 of an inch, which I think is reasonable. And again, the lion's share that's going to fall late morning to mid-afternoon. All right, temperatures. Where are the temps going? They go down a little bit Thursday, Friday, and then boom, we're back in the 50s over the weekend. Pretty good weekend, if you like that sort of thing. 50 on Wednesday, first day of February, and then we go back in the 40s, and maybe by the 3rd of February, we're back in the 30s. There are some signs of some Arctic air breaking off and coming down in parts of the Midwest, Great Lakes, and the Mid-Atlantic. But there are also some signs that the air retreats quickly and the storm track doesn't change, which means it keeps it still west of us, which is not good. All right, you're trying to run tomorrow. Okay, if you have to, outside run in the morning. It'll be dry and cold, rain at noon and rain at 5 o'clock with temperatures in the low to mid 40s, kind of miserable. So, weather watch alert for tomorrow, 45, blustery on Thursday, never going to go 49, but I would go ahead and dress for the 30s. And then 45, kind of cold on Friday, more sunshine, less wind, not a bad day. All right, let's go through the weekend. So we're in the 50s, Saturday, Sunday. Another front approaches Sunday. We could see some clouds, maybe a shower by evening, but at this point, if you want to do something outdoors Sunday, you can. This is going to be a prettier day on Saturday. And then nice on Monday, back in the low 50s, and even on Tuesday, we're in pretty good shape. Some clouds. There's a storm to the south of us off the coast, but right now, all models pretty much agree it's going to move out to sea, and we will be in pretty good shape. All right, so there you have it. Weather watch alert for Wednesday. We'll see at 11 o'clock. We'll have another model run on this, and we'll see if the trend continues to make it colder or warmer, and we'll update the timing as well. Remember, they did slip Frederick County, Maryland in that winter weather advisory this evening. We'll see if they add any other counties, maybe western Loudoun County, by 11 o'clock. Until then, I'm meteorologist Topper Shutt.